Hi guys, my name is Maria Carmo from Cardano community, and today I got the CEO of Esse DAO, Marcelo. How are you doing, Marcelo?
Hi Maria, I'm doing very well. Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show.
I'm very happy you being here. How was Christmas?
Very good. So I got to spend some time with my family, a couple of days of detox from almost detox from laptop. So very great, to be honest. And I'm looking forward for the New Year's Eve.
Tell me a little bit of your background. What brought you here?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for your question and congratulations on your life achievements. I'm originally from Italy, right? So I was born in a very small town in Italy, in a fisherman village. Nobody from my family actually has gone to university or have a business background. So I live on the coast, and I started to work when I was very young, doing like small jobs as any kid. And then when I was 18 years old, I opened a bar with my brother. So we borrowed some money. We opened the bar here near the beach, and so my first professional life was to be a bartender and a bar owner. And then this was 2001, and that bar actually became quite successful, and I enjoyed a lot being a bartender back then. Imagine like 20 years old, all these customer coming, raising like to become almost a celebrity, a local celebrity in the area, right? We had all these famous DJs. We were invited to all these clubs, so it was a lot of fun. But then, basically, I realized 6 years later that I had different goals in life. So I used the money that we made with that bar, and I paid for my university. I went to Bologna University, which is the oldest university in the world, to study politics, and then I specialized in political communication. I did another year in Bologna, and then one at Indiana University. Coming back from Indiana University, I found an internship quite randomly in London in a company called Global Web Index, because the Global Web Index does market research, right? And in 2012, social media were moving, and I wanted to understand better what how people were engaging with the internet, and especially with social media. And this company had so many data that allowed me to see the big picture. So I stayed with them for about 3 years, and then I tried to become what was back then my dream job, which is being a journalist. So after that, I started to write freelance for about 3 to 4 years. I was writing for some publications, including TechCrunch and Wired. And it was also a lot of fun. You know, when you are a journalist, you get invited to all these conferences for free. They pay for your travel. They give you the best rooms. So even though I wasn't making a lot of money back then, because freelancing, especially if you're a journalist, is not a very well-paid job, I still managed to meet amazing people, to get exposure to the startup and entrepreneurial world, the tech world, and to expand my network. So during one of these events, I actually met Simone Giacomelli, which is the co-founder of Singularitynet, also a fellow Italian. And we got along very well. We became good friends, to the point that Simone actually joined me when I was doing my tour around the world, backpacking in Asia mostly. And right after I met Simone joined me in Asia. He was going to meet Ben Gorzo and David Hanson in Hong Kong. And Ben is the AI guy. David Hanson is the robotics guy. And Simone was the crypto guy. So together they conceptualized Singularitynet, and they decided to launch it. And the first person that Simone called after talking with them was me, because he needed somebody that knew how to handle journalists, and that was my specialty. So I started as head of PR for Singularitynet in 2017, leading to the ICO that raised 36 million in 60 seconds very successfully in December 2017. And then basically I stayed with Singularitynet for 5 years during the bear market. And summer 2020, Ben, I had a call with Ben, and I pointed his attention to the fact that DeFi was booming, you know, having compound and synthetics and all these projects were exploding, Uniswap, and the crypto winter seemed to be over. Like Bitcoin was rising in price, so we should have done something in the DeFi space. And talking to Ben, we started to think about how we could use decentralized AI for DeFi. And 24 hours later, Ben delivered the first draft of the Singularity DAO white paper to me, and then 1 month later asked me if I wanted to lead the company, given my knowledge of the space, of the crypto space, of Singularitynet, and the trust that we established within the years.
It's a lot of fun, a lot of work, and a lot of connection. Seems to me that the universe conspire. I have to say, because I'm part of the Cardano community, I met amazing people like you. I hope one day I could meet and interview Ben, but like life has changed a lot, and it's why I really have fun doing these interviews, because we see who is connected to who and what brought to what. It's very interesting. Would you please explain in a very simple way what is a DAO?
So a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. And so there are different levels that we can explain a DAO in different layer of complexity. So let's say that a DAO at the maximum of its expression, it's almost like a living being. So it acts autonomously for its own benefit. Same as, if you want to use an example that exists in nature. For example, we can think of a forest, right? So a forest exists as a single ecosystem, and it operates for its own benefit without a central authority that actually allow a forest to exist. A forest is a forest for the fact of being a forest. A DAO, it's an organism that exists just because it exists, right? So it's a community of people that gathers together to make a project and independent decision making in a completely decentralized way. So this is what the utopian idea of a DAO is. How this concept can be applied to enterprises and an organization in order to make effective business decisions, it's a little bit different. So we are going to have a progressive decentralization process that would allow the community to participate more and more to the activity of the DAO and to vote on proposals that initially we are going to put forward, that the community can put forward, but we can also vote on. If we reach certain threshold over the 5 years, the community would be able to outvote the management team to the point that they will be able to vote a different CEO, a different leader, or to steer the project in a different way. But in order to achieve that level of maturity, participation, and education, it will take time, as it takes time in every democracy in order to function. So democracies specifically need education and participation, and those are the two hardest things to achieve within a truly democratic and decentralized organization. So we're going to do our best, and we already committed a lot of resources to educate our community on the best decisions for the DAO. We're going to have a Singularity DAO Academy at some point. So we are all about decentralization, but we need to make sure that the first priority is for the DAO to survive and the DAO to last as long as possible. So we need to ensure that happens.
But tell me, I got some questions from the community, and people want to know how is to work with Ben.
well, I could write a book about working with Ben, right? So, Ben is the most intelligent person that I know, and it's a genius, right? And I really I don't measure his intelligence, but his intelligence is given by the fact that he has an incredible ability to memorize facts and combine them together like no one else. I mean, he can quote a book that he read 20 years ago and apply that quote to today's circumstances. So Ben is extremely creative. He's a wonderful boss. He's a wonderful leader. He's not a boss. I mean, he never gives you order or demands. He politely asks for stuff, and he leads by his charisma. He's an extremely hard worker. He works a lot. He enjoys working and creating. Overall, he taught me a lot, and I consider Ben to be one of my mentors. Unfortunately, I'm not near as intelligent as he is, so sometimes I struggle to keep up with him. But I feel very privileged to be working with Ben.
I guess we all struggle a little bit. I saw a few interviews and he's saying that he was 17 or 16 practicing meditation while he was putting it was a kind of a punishment because he didn't behave well in class. I thought it was hilarious, like mindfulness.
Yeah. He comes from that sort of family. Actually, he was born in Brazil, right? While his parents were traveling in Brazil. I think his first wife was actually Brazilian. He spent a lot of time, especially during the .com boom in Brazil. So it's very connected to your country. And yeah, he has a peculiar upbringing that led him to become the person that he is right now. Very interesting person.
I really love all these connections between Cardano, Singularity, Esse DAO, because in a kind of way we are connected somehow in the future. You know that. Well, the other question is, in the current development of the stage of Singularity DAO, what is still dependent from SingularityNet, or you are completely separated now? You don't depend on each other?
That's an interesting question. So I guess the short answer is that we are incubated by SingularityNet. As I said, I was part of the funding team, so I'm strongly connected with SingularityNet, and nobody will ever break that connection. At the beginning, SingularityNet provided with all the resources in order to launch Singularity DAO. But now that we have our own finances and our own team, I'm very independent in the decisions that I make for Singularity DAO. And Ben keep an eye on what we're doing, and sometimes he makes suggestions and he gives advices. We still use some of the SingularityNet resources. Some of the team members are still paid by SingularityNet, and they sometimes part-time or they support us on some projects. We obviously use the same communities, but every decision is actually independent. But of course, part of the mission of Singularity DAO is to increase what we call the API calls and the usage of the SingularityNet platform. So we are part of the same ecosystem, very much like Polkadot or Solana have their own ecosystem. SingularityNet has its own ecosystem that serve the purpose of increasing the usage of the centralized AI. And Singularity DAO currently is the main or the largest player in this ecosystem. So we are very much connected. We attend the same meetings. We are on the same Slack group. We talk all the time, but we are also independent.
The AnyTX airdrop for AGIX holder will be out in December. When will the AnyTX airdrop come out for Esse DAO token holders? Is it the same time?
So we don't have, we never confirmed that there will be an AnyTX drop for DAO holders. So that is still speculation. We don't currently have plans to airdrop Nunet tokens to DAO holders. So Nunet is an independent project and they make their own independent decisions, like dropping their tokens to the AGIX community, which is, the community they belong from. But however, Singularity DAO is independent. So it's connected to Nunet because we are partnering and we launched the project on our Launchpad, and we gave our community the opportunity to join the private sale of Nunet using DAO tokens. However, we never committed to do an AnyTX airdrop for DAO holders. So unless something changes so far, for now, we don't have that in the plan.
That's interesting. So it can kind of clarify. The next question is, will other DINA sets take a long time to come out, like the first one a few months ago, or will it be released sooner?
Well, to build so the first DINA set took 6 months from the foundation of Singularity DAO up to the launch of the first DINA set, which I don't think is a long time. 6 months, no other tech companies can develop products so fast. So we develop our DINA sets extremely fast. We overworked our team, launching a number of products, including staking and farming, including the Launchpad, including the bridge. So we delivered a lot. So I don't think it took us too long to deliver DINA sets. However, the next set of DINA sets is likely to be delivered in Q1 2022, likely in February. The latest should be in March. But definitely, you know, I mean, the hardest part is to build the technology, to gather the data, to build the team. Now that we have all of this in place, releasing the next set should be much easier. So the community can actually look forward to it.
Right. So the question I was curious the most was, will the connection between Singularity DAO and Cardano be by bridge?
Interesting fact. The first time that Ben and Charles met was in 2019, and we were in Hong Kong. I'm gonna tell you this little fact, and then I go to your question. Sorry, because I think it's interesting and fun. So in Hong Kong, we were in Hong Kong for a conference called the Token 2049, and I know that Charles was a speaker. I mean, I followed Cardano for a long time, and I was a big admirer of Cardano, and I saw Charles, and I was walking with Ben, and I saw Charles walking almost next to us, and I'm like, Ben, do you know that guy? That's Charles Hoskinson. And he's like, I heard of him. Who is he? He said, well, he's the leader of Cardano. So amazing. I actually like Cardano. It's one of the most legit. So do you want me to introduce, to make the introduction? He says, yeah, why not? So I went, I stopped Charles, I grabbed Charles and said, hey, Charles, do you want to meet Ben Gorzo? So yeah, why not? So I got him to meet, and they, for the first time, they shake hands and they say hello for just, 10 seconds. And then Charles went by and we went by our own way. And then thanks to one of our advisors, Mihaela, Ulieru, who's now working for Cardano,
We also have
actually
an
revamped.
interview. We also have an interview in here in the channel from Mihaela Ulieru. That's an amazing person.
Oh, amazing! Yeah, she's wonderful. She's also like extremely hardworking woman, super smart, very helpful and supportive to our ecosystem. So she's the one that actually made the magic happen between Ben and Charles to a more concrete level. But I can brag that the first handshake happened because of me. So so yeah, I think that's right. But anyway, so regarding Singularity DAO and the plan to move to Cardano, as you know, Cardano is built on Haskell, and Haskell is a difficult language to use, and not everybody knows or have the skill to code in Haskell. So we at Singularitynet, we have a team, an expert team that knows how to code Haskell, knows Haskell language, and this is the team that built the converter. So very likely Singularity DAO would use the same converter to bridge to Cardano. And as soon as we can and the technology is ready, we're going to be able to build and launch our first set of Dynasets on the Cardano blockchain. And we're very much looking forward to it. So Dynasets are basically coded are sets of smart contracts, right? I mean, at the end, what runs on the back end are smart contracts. So technically, we can write them in any language we want, and we can have them on any blockchain that we want. Of course, at the beginning, we are focusing on EVM compatible because it's extremely easy to do for us. But if we want to port to Cardano, it's going to take a little bit more work, but it will definitely happen, and hopefully within 2022. So we are very excited about it, and we can't wait to get closer to the Cardano community.
The next question is, how is the conversation with AVAX, and is there any other conversation with other blockchains?
Yeah, so yes to both. So we met. So actually, Ben met the AVAX team in Wyoming, if I'm not wrong, during the Cardano Summit or one of the hackathons there. And Ben, being Ben, he made the team fall in love with with SingularityNet, and specifically with Singularity DAO, because they're all about DeFi, right? They're growing a DeFi ecosystem. So we had already 2 meetings. We have a shared working group. So the conversation is moving forward, and we're really hoping to sign an MOU to define the actual scope of work and the potential partnership between Avalanche and Singularity DAO. So this will definitely happen within 2022. I don't have a concrete timeline yet, but we're having there is a reciprocal mutual respect, and we both pushing to make this happen to a very senior level. We're also talking to Solana. We are talking to, we're very close to Polygon since a long time. BSC, we are there already, but we are talking to make the partnership a little bit more concrete and to move to the next level of our partnership. Cardano, of course, up until, you know, I would say September, October, we relied on the marketing resources that were provided to us by Singularitynet with their VP of marketing, which is an extremely capable and competent person. And in the meantime, Singularity DAO was building his own team, right? Tech team, AI team, executive team, as well as marketing team. So over the growing phase, we also hired marketing resources, and we do have a marketing plan. We do have a lot of budget committed to marketing. It's just that some people really expect that project deliver, you know, news to their doors. It's not like this. Unfortunately, we live in a very crowded and a very loud environment where there are so many projects happening, and you know how fast blockchain evolves and crypto evolves. So in summer 2020, it was all about DeFi, and the beginning of 2021 was also about DeFi. But then we had NFTs, and then we had metaverses, and then we had meme coins, dog coins, and then DeFi again, and then NFT again. So medias, they move in different directions where the different trends are. So they, you know, they don't necessarily pay attention to projects that haven't delivered yet. So we just started, we just delivered our main product, you know, 1 week ago. So we start to have traction right now. So we embarked ourselves in a difficult mission, which is not like just building a staking platform like many other projects or doing a meme coin. We're actually building solid products with a solid roadmap. So we don't expect media to jump on board immediately because we haven't proved ourselves yet. So media will get to find out about Singularity DAO when we actually get more traction, more dynasets, more AI. And this is when the world will find out about Singularity DAO. For now, it's just marketing without the product, and it's very difficult. Of course, we try to get in front of as many eyes as possible. We did, you know, one of DeFi largest airdrop by donating 5% of our DAO to the AGIX community. That brought a lot of token holders to Singularity DAO, and that's what built our community at the beginning. We give great incentive to stakers to attract more people. We do display ad campaigns. We did an advent calendar to encourage community to interact with us even more. We work with influencers. We invite influencers to use our dynasets. We have a PR agency dedicated. We are doing a rebranding effort. We do paid social media. We are active on every single social media possible. We dedicate so much resources in community management to actually provide like superior community and customer service so that everybody can actually use our platform and anybody knows the details of our communities and our products. So we're doing so much at marketing level, and this is actually paying off. And why this is paying off, and why I know this is paying off, because we have between 2 and 6 millions of dollars of volumes in exchanges every day, which is incredible. We have a huge amount of token holders. We you know, media know about us, influencers know about us, other companies know about us. But of course, you know, in order to praise the success of a project, they need to see actual traction. And without an existing product, it's very difficult to get this traction. But we're doing a lot, and we will do much more also in 2022.
Singularity DAO first Launchpad was a huge success. However, many people couldn't buy it, right? Or they paid the necessary fee. What does Singularity DAO plan to make the distribution more fair in the next IDO?
Yeah, sure. So as you said, you know, the NuNet launch was extremely successful. We raised $2 million in only 90 seconds, which it's very impressive. I mean, it's beyond our best expectation. We didn't expect such a good result. We built the Launchpad in less than 3 weeks, which is an incredible result. So I know companies that have through hundreds of thousands of dollars and 6-8 months of work, and they still haven't built their own Launchpad or did a successful IDO. We did in 3 weeks, which is incredible. It's an amazing success, and I think that everybody should be happy about this launch. Unfortunately, the allocation is limited, right? So we were raising $2 million, and meaning that not everybody can make it. I mean, unfortunately, some people naturally have to be left out, but there's going to be so many more opportunities, so many more projects launched through the Launchpad, and so many more opportunity to get NUNET tokens. So I understand that the model that we used for the Launchpad, which is a first come first serve model, is not ideal. I mean, there is no mystery, right? I mean, it obviously rewards the fastest, or the one that paid the more gas, or the most skilled in using the blockchain. And that's the unfortunate reality of things. And that's the problem that every single Launchpad in the world faces. In order to solve this problem, we asked the community to make proposals, and we're going to vote on these proposals to see which model, with distribution model and allocation model, will the community prefer. To my view, it's almost impossible to get out of the first come first serve model, because even if you do tier allocation, even within these tiers, people would have to rush to buy into it. Or if you do guaranteed allocation, then you're going to end up that people are going to have meaningless allocation with it. There could be like $3 or $5. So there is not perfect model to be applied to Launchpads, unfortunately. Maybe somebody in the community will come out with something that nobody ever thought. If that happens, I'm going to be the happiest person on earth. Unfortunately, the nature of Launchpad is that, you know, allocations are limited, so some people would be necessarily left out. But we are listening to the community feedback, as we always done. We always listen to the community. We always incorporate any advice or any comment the community have. In the past, we gave away tokens to pay for our mistakes. We give away, again, like one of the largest airdrop. We always listen to the community, and we will do so for the Launchpad again. But so people need also to understand that we are doing the best that we can, and that allocations are finite, are not infinite, and unfortunately some people will be left out.
Rejuve, when will be in the Launchpad?
That's $1 million question. I personally don't know the timeline for Rejuve. It should hopefully happen in Q1 2022. The latest would be Q2, but I'm not personally involved in Rejuve too much, so it's difficult for me to say.
Marcelo, thank you very much for taking your time to come here to talk to me. I would like to say thank you for Samuel Silva, that's responsible for this interview. I would also say thank you for Munir. I don't work alone, there's loads of people around the community helping me a lot. Would you like to address anyone in the community?
So first of all, thank you for hosting this interview, this great interview. It was a pleasure talking to you and to be on your show. Thank you to Samuel for inviting me to this show. He's doing an amazing job as a content creator in Brazil. I often watch his video and I try to understand what I can from Portuguese. And I also want to thank you, the overall Brazilian community that has been so supportive towards the project since the very beginning. So we know that we have a very large fan base in Brazil. We love the community. We are dedicating resources to grow our official group in Brazil, the Singularity DAO official group. And I'm here to answer any questions the community might have. I do a lot of live where I do a lot of AMAs. I'm often involved in the community. So I'm happy to answer any questions the Brazilian community will have for me, and I'm always here. They know where to find me. So as long as there is a true and healthy exchange and conversation, I'm always happy to engage. It's much more difficult when the conversation gets unhealthy, as unfortunately you know, some people might want to turn the conversation to. But for those that, you know, are loyal and they're open and they're polite and they engage in an educate manner, I'm very happy to have any sort of conversation. So I invite everybody to join, ask me questions on Telegram, join my lives, and you know, if you want to do another AMA with more questions from the Brazilian community, I'd be very happy to come. So I'm always here whenever the community needs me. So thank you so much for the support so far. It's been a great journey, and I loved every bit of it.
I love the journey as well, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you very much, and I see you soon.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much.